Hello everyone, welcome to TUTORIEX, and in this video I'll show you how you can handle forms inside React app. So as you can see in my screen, there is a React app. Inside the components folder there is a file named form component, and inside that I wrote a component that is a React component, and inside app.jsx I'm just rendering that form component. So let's see the form component only. I'll minimize all the stuff to avoid distraction. I'll also minimize the terminal. So here you can see it's just a form, and inside form I'm having one input box, one text area, one checkbox, and one drop down. So all the things that I could cover, and also one submit button. So as you can see, this is just a normal form, and we'll just now make these forms like usable. It's just now a form, it's not doing anything. In clicking submits, nothing is happening, right? So the main goal is when I click on submit, all those data should come to me, and I should be able to visualize all the data that is coming from the form. So I'll just minimize everything so we can see the form and how it looks side by side. So this is how it looks. There is an input box, text area, there is a checkbox, there is a drop down, and there is the submit button. As I'm clicking on this submit button, you can see the page is getting refreshed. So that's the default action when you click on a submit. So we have to change all that. So first we have to create state variables for each of the values, like for example this value, this value, this value, and this value. So how we can create a state variable using useState hook. So we'll import useState from React, and we'll create first, let's create the input box value. So I'll just name it as it is, const input box value. This useState gives you the initial value, that is a blank string, and a function that is the function to change the state variable, right? So that's what useState hook does. So let's create one by one every function. Okay, so const text area value, const checkbox value, and drop down value, right? And by default, let's choose the drop down value as Superman. As you see, there is like Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man, all the superhero names. So this will be our default value, and on submit you can see there is nothing. On submit is just refreshing the page. So what we can do in the form, we can have this on submit, and when we click on submit, we'll run this handle submit. And what is handle submit? It's nothing. It will be just a function that will be handle submit. It will take the event, and it will be a function. So let's do one thing. Instead of instead of doing console log, this let's show it as an alert. So like we don't have to open the DevTools page for that. So alert, let's do it like const result equals to, and that will be our multi-line string, input box text area, and drop down, right? So that's it, and let's show it as an alert. Yep. Okay, so let's now, these are all done, but it's not gonna happen anything here. If I do choose something and click submit, you see everything is blank, right? Because nothing is there. All the values are set to blank or false, or by default value, something like that. So how you make this thing implemented with the form, right? Make the state variable connected with the form. So come here. So let's first do the input box, then we'll do all the stuff in a similar fashion. So value will be, what is the value? By default value it is input box value, right? So that's how you do it, input box value. And on change, when I'm writing something, it's generating an event that is on change. So on change, what I have to do, I have to update the input box value, right? So for updating the input box value, we have this function set input box value. So we'll now make use of that function. So on change, this will be an arrow function, and on change it generates an event, right? So we'll take that event as e, and we'll have an arrow function. What that arrow function will do, set the input box value as e.target.value. That is nothing but e is this, target will be the input box, and input box's value will be set to the value of that input box value state variable. So this is how you do it. So let's just test it, save it, and if I write my name here, and if I press submit, you see the input box value is updated. So let's do the same thing for other component also, the text area. Let's set the value as text area value, text area value. Let's make it a little bit small because I want to write code properly. I'm not able to see. And on change also, what we have to do, we have to have an array function that will take an event, and we have to set text area value as e.target.value. Inside checkbox also the same value will be checkbox value, so I don't have to repeat, right? On change, what you have to do, take event set checkbox value equals to e.target.value. So value will be drop down value, and on change, on select, I guess, because it's the selection, right? So I guess it will have a on select, yeah. So on select e, and it will have set drop down value e.target.value. So that's it. When you click on submit button, all the values should be there. So let's save this and refresh our page. Now we should be able to write something, and that should be stored inside those state variable. Arjit, something about me, checkbox will be true because I checked it, and let's choose Batman and submit. You see, Arjit, something about me. So that's we reached our end goal, right? Everything is working. The input box is working, the text area is working, the checkbox is working, the drop down is working, also the submit button is working. So yeah, so everything works. So what we can do, we can maybe display those values as well. So let's create some div and display those values. So for that, we'll create a React fragment, because React component only returns one giant component. So we'll wrap this thing and another div that will be below inside these React fragments. So let's paste it here, and we'll have a div value, right? And we don't have any div value, so let's create that const div value, and that will be a blank string initially. And when we click on that, instead of showing alert, let's do set div value is the result. So we can do that also. So let's try again. Checkbox Batman, submit, and you see something is coming in the below. So like all the values are displayed here, right? Yep, all the values are displayed here. I guess alert was better, but yeah, that's not the point. The point is it's working, and I am now working inside form, right? Form has this on submit thing and everything. But let's see, if I have a div instead of form, if I have a div, so the on submit will not be there, right? Like if I click on submit, nothing is happening. Okay, let me refresh, and let me change it back to alert, because alert was better, I guess. Alert, yeah, alert, and alert will be result. Yep. So on submit is nothing is happening because it's a div, and on submit there is no on submit inside div. So what we can do, we can put on click listener in the button. So we can have on click. So this is if you are working with simple button and not a form, you can use divs for rendering the input boxes, text area and everything, and you can have a button, and you can have this on click listener, and you can do this handle submit. You can call this function on click. So I guess this will do the same thing, you see. So all the values are empty because we haven't put anything there. So that's all about form handling. Let's see the code properly. Let's close this. So let's explain the code again as a recap. So first we are importing this hook useState. Using that we'll create all the state variables that will be used to store the data as we change, as we input anything, as we check the checkbox, as we select something from the drop down. So that will be using the state variables and this div value. Forget this one for now. So these are the four things, and here we initially rendered a form, and inside form we have input box, text area, checkbox, drop down, and all those things, and we are using the value is whatever the value that will be. So value is by default whatever the state value, and on change what we are doing, we are using an arrow function because on change is an event, so this will have event as an input, and we are setting the input box value as e.target.value, that is nothing but what is inside input box. And the same way we are setting the value of text area, we are setting the value of the drop down and the checkbox. So yeah, so that's how we are setting the value. And on click we are calling this handle submit function, and handle submit function is nothing, just rendering a string that is taking the current value of input box, text area value, and those are the state variables, and setting an alert. So hope you understood this video. This was nothing, just the form handling in React. So I showed you in a simple way. You can use Tailwind CSS to form design properly and use it any way possible. You can use a form or you can use a div, and just you have to call that handle submit or on click function, and you have to do whatever that you want to do on clicking that button, and whatever you want to perform on the data that user has inputted. So that's it for this video. Hope you like this video and understood this video. If you have any doubt, ask in the comment, and subscribe this channel for more videos like this. See you on the next video. Bye bye.